means about, I don't know how many euros is that. At least 30. No, I don't know. Wait. Google to the rescue.
Google will always come to the rescue.
Yes,
Even
it's 74 euro difference.
that
Indeed.
Google
Which is a kind of useful. It's not that substantial, but it's useful.
Google even rescues you from very mean opinions. Then turns out it was nothing but a copyright strike that was actually legitimate. And that's a really shitty segue to say, yes, this is a new episode of Radio Rothingham. Hello, we're recording right now.
Don't free bearing.
But we already did. He's already free.
Nice.
As free as a butterfly. No,
Nobody ever suspects the butterfly.
yes,
I hate them. I suspect them of everything. I suspect they did 9/11.
But
Yep.
what kind of butterfly?
Yeah, if you look at the footage of 9/11, you can clearly see in the explosion the shape of a butterfly, which means that they are solely responsible. It's all the
I thought it was
butterflies.
in the shape of a circumcised penis.
That you're just seeing whatever
The
you
Jew
want.
butterflies.
Yes, it was a Jew butterflies that are also atheist. So it's also them atheists' fault with their atheism, corrupting our youth with their atheism and.
Which reminds me, I saw the video of Buzz Aldrin punching out the guy who was harassing him and telling him he was a liar for saying that he was on the moon while he wasn't, and to get to heaven he needs to repent. And then Buzz was like, "Get away from me!" And the guy didn't, and then Buzz punched him.
That was one amazing man.
And mind you, that's a recent video, so fairly recent. So Buzz is already an old man in the video, but he just throws punches.
He still landed an epic punch.
Yep.
Yeah, so today we have for you, yours truly. We got the one and only local German, which is back.
We have me.
We have me, who is called Xaverius.
And who is also a meme.
Xaverius is the biggest meme of memes. Memeverius, yes, that's his name from now on. And there's also Sekle.
Hello.
And so that means that right now we're 50% Slavic.
Yep.
Yep.
How does it make you feel?
I feel pressed.
Slavic race.
I'm becoming a minority in my own podcast. So obviously, so yeah, I need my white. I basically need the alt-right right now. Where are those guys? I need them. I need them to save me from all this Slavic influences.
You need to post some of them pepes.
Yeah.
I am not gonna save the Dutch.
But back reparations. I still need them. Give me.
For what?
For the war.
Have got some more of them reparations.
Hey, Beck, it's not too late to give us the entire Ruhr area. We don't mind. We can use it.
No.
We have a few use now. Oh, please.
You already got the sea.
Yeah.
Please. Lots of sugar on top.
Artrix, do you realize how it ended the last time they had to give somebody their areas?
I still want the Ruhr area.
Ended up with Hitler, Artrix.
Yeah, but this one won't have Hitler. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that.
That's Merkel. That's even worse.
Exactly. So we'll take the Ruhr area, right? And we'll remove Merkel. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
Remove Kebab Merkel.
Well, the only problem would be that she would be replaced by some Dutch politician who's probably gonna be equally retarded. But sometimes you gotta fight fire with.
Just replace her with the one with the hair.
You mean
everybody's going to be safe then.
You bring up an interesting point here, because Mr. Wilders is from Venlo, which is very close to the German border, and if we annex the Ruhr area to Netherlands, I'm sensing a pattern here.
This is German in disguise.
Maybe he is. Maybe secretly German. I mean, he does have the blonde hair and everything.
Were you?
But does he have blue eyes?
I don't know.
Were you a part of the Holy Roman Empire?
Yes.
Then
I
yes,
did.
there would be a pattern.
Was somebody not at some point?
The
well,
French were never. Well, okay, in the
large
there was
part.
part of the Carolingian Empire.
Yeah, I was just like, what about Charlemagne?
Yeah, true. But yeah, at that point they were technically part of the Holy Roman Empire, but
Yes.
not for very long. And also Great Britain was never part of the Holy Roman.
Well, his sons kind of fucked it up.
And most Slavic countries were never part of Holy Roman Empire.
Hey,
If you
we
don't
were.
count- Yeah, the Czech Republic and
You
part
also technically were, or you
no,
didn't
no, we
exist
were
for.
part of the Kingdom of Hungary.
Which was a part of Holy Roman Empire sometimes.
Technically not. We shared rulers at some points in history, but we never were officially a part. We were kind of like that dirty kid that tags along, but nobody really likes.
Hey, at least they got accepted. I mean, for the better part of European history, they were the enemy of mankind before they were replaced by the Turks.
Oh yeah, we saved you from the Turks, by the way. Well, you Westerners.
You are the buffer zone.
I thought the Austrians were,
uh,
because they couldn't get into Vienna.
well, they were right next to Vienna, and they kind of lost. Too bad.
We kind of were the same monarchy at that point, so it was a joint.
Yep.
Ah,
Exactly. And then there were all these rebellions and other nobles that were defying the Kaiser. And it was all of fun because they actually got right next to Vienna and shot at the Emperor's palace. And then they had problems somewhere else, so they had to, leave. And Vienna was still unconquered and it was all sad. Then we lost.
But did you win the
And-
prize?
And that's the tale of how we still remained a part of Austrian Empire, and Slovakia still remained part of Austrian Empire until the First World War.
Yeah.
But then that ended
At
it,
least
and
the Austrians never tried to exterminate you, though.
Not the Austrians. Well, some of them. The Germans did.
Well, yeah, but that was after World War II. Well, during
Yeah.
World War II.
Yeah.
We kinda had to endure it before World War I. Which is why we decided to separate.
Yeah. Well,
Because the Bulgarians
all,
kinda
all,
like-
quote unquote, all that the Austrians did was like, hey, we are replacing your language with our language.
and I
Kinda
was like,
similar
no.
Only that the Hungarians also went, well, yeah, we will
Well,
replace
Artrix actually they were like, well, we don't like this, but what we can do? And then a bunch of hipsters decided to catalogize put the language into some book form, a dictionary. And since they were all hipsters, it kind of caught on, and then they started talking the language, and that didn't die.
Oh my
Also,
god.
that's how we came onto some of the German words, because it was all around. Austrian,
Also,
same thing.
I suddenly picture like ye olden times, but with all these hipster dudes with the goony beards and whatnot.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
exactly how it went.
They go out and they go to ye olde Starbucks, and
Except in Austrian.
in Austrian, so that would
Over
what
here-
Starbucks in German? What we go?
we have
Over
also
here-
Starbucks.
Yeah, but how would you translate the name into German? Like if you literally translate it. I mean, in Dutch it would be something like stair peak, since peak would be slang for gilder.
Der Sternenbock.
Sterrenbock. That does sound delightfully German.
Yeah, it was pretty much something like a star ramp.
That's awesome. I can picture it already. So instead of having this Starbucks with all the green and shit, it just looks like an old German tavern with like
Except
dead
Austrian.
animals on the walls and whatnot.
Except
Well,
Austrian.
Yeah, except that Austria and Bavaria are basically the same thing.
Not quite.
Well,
No.
they have the local quirks, but still.
Also back then, Austria was a empire, and Germany was like 17 states. They were not really states. They were ruled by different people
Mhm.
with different titles.
Yeah,
That's what-
Austria was like, yeah, I'm just gonna be here and be an empire, and Germany was like, no,
Nah.
we're just super chill. We're just gonna sit here, and everyone just kind of does their own thing, and you go and be an empire. We'll just be chill over here.
That was most likely the result of a Napoleon destroying the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
a Napoleon destroying a Roman Empire.
A
It was,
Napoleon.
yeah.
was that most Germans at that point were already Protestants, and so they were not too keen on being part of some Catholic empire.
Mm.
Which is, of course, why the Austrians created the Austrian Empire out of the remains of the Holy Roman Empire, since they were the only Catholics left there.
Exactly. Catholics in here. Then there was Spain, but nobody really cared about Spain because it's too far away.
To be fair,
But, no.
there's
To make a correction, the French cared about Spain a lot.
Yeah, but that's because Spain was kind of like right on their doorstep.
Plus,
Indeed.
they had all those ships. Well, of course. Well, okay, not anymore at that point. Kinda lost them to the English.
And the Dutch also cared about Spain because they came over and they were like, we rule this place now, and then we're like, no, and that went on for 80 years, and then we kicked them out.
Well, that's also
We were like,
that also
no.
has something to do with all the religion stuff.
Hmm? And but like 200-300 years later, I just jump in an airplane, just go there, like,
I mean,
hi.
that's why we had all those revolts and all those, because we decided we are not really like, why should we be forced into Catholicism? We want to.
Okay, you guys are roboting pretty badly, or my internet just dropped. No, that's my internet. It decided. There we go. You guys are alive again.
And
And,
it actually did last almost exactly 300 years, since 1621 to 1918.
Sweet.
Not really.
But there's still more than enough people, at least over here, who don't like each other, like Protestants and Catholics, like especially the older people or some older priests.
Oh.
I like, nope, we don't like each other. I had
So-
a coworker, a priest didn't want to marry, didn't want to help a coworker married, or at least because he was Catholic and his wife is Protestant, so he didn't want to do the marriage for them. So they had to actually search for another priest.
Okay. Well, here we just generally, look with a very weird expression at anybody who's religious. How would you do that, mate?
That's them commies' fault. The
Yeah, but
fucking
the-
commies
but the
just
thing,
de-religionizing you guys with the communism and the commie ways and
Honestly, if not
Fucking
for
commies.
the commies and the Nazis, I probably wouldn't be alive. Well, mostly thanks to the Nazis, honestly. Because to further explain, my grandmother from mother's side was a Catholic. My grandfather from mother's side was a Protestant.
All of them are mentally ill. Continue.
But they both became atheists after World War II because of the shit they witnessed.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Most notably, Slovakia was during that period ruled by Nazis, and those Nazis were also the church. To explain, Slovakia during World War II was a theocracy. The country was ruled by a priest, Father Josef Tiso, who was also a Nazi. So he was a Catholic priest, by the way. No, well, but kinda Christianity did lose a lot of support over here during that period. So,
yes.
That's how stuff worked. Well, over here, Christianity lost most of its appeal, I guess, because commies, being a Christian is like not a very nice thing to do, comrade. Also, you want to send your children to university? Well, no. That's why you weren't Christian if you wanted to go to the university.
Surprisingly, the commies were never that popular in the Slovak half of Czechoslovakia, not even when they were in power.
Well, they were popular at first. I mean, right after the war.
Well, yeah.
Which led to the events of the year 48, and then half of the people were like, okay, maybe this wasn't what we like, and then in 20 years they were, what about democracy? And then the Soviet Union was like, democracy, you say.
Cannot compute. That's alien.
A democracy. Have some tanks.
Hmm?
And then they said thanks. And then we had tanks for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Do you want to make up your mind? Here, have some tanks.
No, 20. Only 20 years.
Yeah. Have some tanks to make up your mind. Did you make up your mind? Good. Gonna keep these tanks here anyway.
People didn't like the tanks for some reason. There were barricades and burning trams. I don't know why.
And they were also occupying real valuable real estate. Like, I want to build a house, but there's a fucking tank in the way.
Essentially.
So, can't you just push it away? No, really, it's a tank.
It's full of Russians.
That too. It's all Russians.
I actually remember them still removing Russian military technology even during the 90s.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're building a power plant in some city and it explodes and you want to bulldoze it to build a...
It was kind of a wild, lawless time after the Soviet Union disbanded, and to a lesser extent after Czechoslovakia disbanded, but hey.
Lots of mobsters.
Yes, also the tanks that were not cleared in official capacity, or didn't just drive away, were stolen and repurposed.
Huh?
And then it could happen that you could call for tow service because your car broke down, and then a tank appeared. Except for the turret that was removed, it was just the tracks from the
ones that were used for peaceful purposes. There is still a chance that some of those tanks are shooting down American planes somewhere in the Middle East.
That's also true. At least they recycle. Come on.
Yeah.
Recycling is pretty important.
That's kind of the thing about us Slavic people. Unlike you Westerners, we never throw anything away. We use it until it falls apart.
I mean, that's why I still have a phone from 2003.
That's why I still have a Nokia Ericsson.
Oh, that is pretty hardcore.
The company no longer exists.
This one is Nokia 3510E, which is like 3510 but with color display. Wow.
I still have one of those. It's just doesn't have a battery anymore. I recently went through my stuff and the battery completely bulged. It's like, well, that sure is a useless battery.
These fucking modern phones, the battery doesn't even last 20 years.
It was a Nokia 6610i.
Okay, that's fairly new.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't even think I have the 33. My first Nokia was a 3310, I believe.
That's the good stuff.
That fucker was indestructible. Before that, I had some really shitty phone from Philips. That thing was also indestructible, but it was also big enough to bash someone's brains in. So it was probably classified as a weapon at some point.
That's an added value. 3510 is almost indestructible, as in it can be destroyed with enough force, but in day-to-day use, like you go in a city, you're going around, you're looking at your time, then the phone slips out of your hand and just falls to the pavement, and well, there might be a tiny crack in the plastic, but the phone is fine.
It reminds me of that.
Compared to contemporary smartphones, it falls down from 2 centimeters on your table, it's toast.
Back then, they built stuff to last.
Yes.
Yeah, these days phones are a commodity. You're supposed to buy them, use them for at most 2 years at most, and then you just throw it away and get a new one.
Fucking expensive. That's why I'm not buying a new phone. It's too difficult to find one that's reasonable priced and can work for more than 2 years.
To be perfectly honest, I do have a phone. I currently do have a phone that's 2 years old. It's the HC One M8, and it still works perfectly fine, even though it's well over 2 years old now. The only downside is that the battery is starting to die down.
Artrix. I said reasonably priced.
Also, why do
Which means as cheap as possible.
Well, what is reasonably priced according to you?
Like 2,000-3,000.
Coronas.
In euros.
Okay. Well, with a decent with normal contract, you typically pay about 2 or 3 tenors per month for
Google,
2 years,
Google
and then
betrayed me. It doesn't want to convert. Oh no!
just go to xc.com. That fucker is pretty reliable.
That's clicking on the page. Apparently, 3,000 Czech crown is 111.00 euro.
So 111 euros. That makes about sense.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you can these days you can buy a smartphone for that amount of money.
Yes, but it's going to be Chinese and steal all your data.
Well, it's always gonna steal your data. That's a problem with
all the
smartphones.
phones do that.
I know a German guy who's kind of into smartphones, and of course, all the smartphones he recommends me are not accessible on our market. Fucker. Also, Alex, you mentioned contracts. Why would I ever do that?
Convenience.
No. Then I have to pay every month. I don't want that. That's stuff that I have to care about. All I want to do is just give some people at the recharging station money. They put it into my phone, and then I have money I can call until I run out of the money.
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of prepaid plans where you can get a phone as well.
I don't believe you.
Well, then go ahead. Don't believe me. But I'm pretty sure that shit's around.
I continue not believing you.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
then good luck with that.
Would you go on the net and tell lies?
Yes. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to tell lies and make people all confused and shit. And anyway, you probably need like a proper topic.
We just talked 30 minutes on phones and Slavness.
Exactly.
It's not a
Well,
topic enough.
speaking of phones, many phones are produced in South Korea, and what's up in South Korea? They actually are getting rid of their president.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. Apparently,
I remember that from a Fortune post that was titled, "I'm done with life. Our government has something that sounds like a plot of a stupid anime."
Yeah, basically it turns out that the advisor of the South Korean president is also a cult leader.
That sounds just peachy.
And the South Korean president was using tax money to financially support that cult.
Nah.
So what's the difference to other governments?
Well, this advisor cult person was directly controlling the decisions of the president. It was not even like, hey, you have money on this undisclosed account, and maybe if something changed in our favor, we wouldn't be cross with you. In this case, it was more like, do this.
But here the government has voted that the president has to step down. Like it's official now, so she has to go now.
Bye. Have a nice
Your
life.
value was lost.
You won't be missed. And then they moved all yeah.
Go ahead.
Obviously need to be liberated by Best Korea.
Yes.
That could be amusing.
Just don't ask all the defectors from North Korea, because obviously they have been brainwashed by the capitalism.
Look, I've got the solution. I got the perfect solution. If all North Koreans defect all at once, like just all of them, just move across the board, and if the South Koreans do the same thing, problem solved. Because now you got North Korea that's now in the south, and you got South Korea that's to the north, and North Korea wouldn't have, China anymore to back them up. But now South Korea is like Chinese right on their doorstep. So yeah, that's an entirely new world of kek and lols and ruffles.
It makes it a bit more difficult to defect.
It is actually pretty appropriate that you use the word kek, seeing how kek is originally a Korean word describing laughter.
That does make it more appropriate.
And for those who play World of Warcraft, it's what the Horde says when they type lol.
Yep.
Because of the in-game filter.
StarCraft, it's the sound that arrives whenever the Zerg destroy your base 10 minutes into the game. Well, not even 10, usually 3 minutes into the game.
Yes, that's StarCraft for you. You just get destroyed 3 minutes into the game unless you're South Korean. Yes, specifically South Korean, because I believe computers are something of a rarity in the best Korea.
Well, not computers themselves, but definitely internet connection.
They don't need internet, they have Kimternet.
You mean in North Korea, they got the best intranet?
Yeah.
No one's got better intranet than any other country. I mean, the Netherlands doesn't even have an intranet. Checkmate, atheists.
Yeah, the Kimternet was made by the leader himself.
Exactly. He himself put down all the cables across the nation to give the peoples of the Koreans all the best internet.
It was his own war.
Speaking of communists and online gaming, China recently lifted a ban on video game consoles, because that was apparently a thing, and now Chinese companies are free to produce video game consoles. Some are saying that now China and their nationally supported companies are going to enter the video games race.
Also, apparently, China has done something where they're like, "Hey, that's a nice."
I'm waiting for the new Ho Chi Minh box.
We're about to address the same thing, where China's like.
I was going to ask Bak if he's going to want to address the thing, because he was the one who originally came up with the topic.
Yes, go ahead, Beck.
Yes,
Be
China
useful.
did the most weird thing, which was a pro-consumer thing, because they have now a government mandate that companies have to give out the odds in the loot boxes, or like in the crates. Like, when, for example, in Overwatch, you get a crate from time to time, or you can buy them. But now they have also to announce, of course. But in China, they have to announce what the actual odds are.
That actually sounds fair.
Yes.
So if I want my super rare Tracer skin that I'll probably use like 6 times, I don't have to Yeah, exactly. I don't need to spend $10,000 to buy like 1,000 loot boxes and then maybe get it.
No,
But I
no.
can just
No, it
consider.
only tells you the odds. It doesn't change anything else. It only tells you, and only in China. But I already can see the following thing happening. They will slightly adjust the odds either in China or the rest of the world, and it will be like, okay, those odds are only for China. The rest of the world are the other
Yes,
odds.
obviously, that's the first thing they're going to do.
Yeah. I think there are even a few Korean MMOs which have a similar regulation, where the Korean counterparts actually have different drop rates.
It is possible. I can't find it right now, but I did see a clause in the articles that were that were analyzing the document that in the case of stuff that's only attainable from gambling like this, the companies are supposed under the law to provide a alternative way to get those. Which still probably means paying, but you can pay for the stuff directly.
Yeah, which is way better in my
It
opinion.
is.
It's more fair.
Indeed, because you just point at the thing and click pay, not buy 7,000 chests and hope it
But
drops.
that's what they want.
Of course
Yeah,
that's what they want, because gaming today is not about gaming, it's about money and transactions.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just
always
surprised
been
how
about money,
accepted,
but yeah.
I'm just surprised how accepted those loot boxes have become.
Artrix, yes, but before, you made a game and you were like, okay, I'm going to make money on this game.
Mhm.
And then you probably sometimes added some cosmetics. Today it was like, I'm going to make money. How? Maybe a game? You see, it sort of switched.
Mm-hmm. It has become more of a business. That's definitely correct. And I do think it's silly that you can. I mean, I'm not even opposed to having in-game purchases in the sense that sure, if you want,
cosmetic,
if you just want some cosmetics, then you should just be able to buy them. But
as long as it's not like Deus Ex where you had fucking save points.
So, but in Overwatch instance, if there are certain skins that you have to buy loot boxes at a specific point in time, and just hope that you just happen to have one that has that one particular skin that you want to have at that specific moment.
It's an incredibly shitty practice, but it doesn't harm the game, like, in terms of balance.
No, I mean the game still plays exactly the same.
Yes.
It's just that you can walk around as a Frankenstein.
Speaking of Overwatch and gameplay, I think that Blizzard's policy about the updates is pretty retarded because they introduce nerfs and buffs to characters. Problem is that they introduce those same nerfs and buffs regardless to both console and PC version. And while a buff...
They specifically tuned differently.
Yeah. Basically, what counts as a minor nerf on the PC to make a character more balanced, on the console makes the character unplayable. For example, McCree, the cowboy. He is a very high precision...
The rape machine.
No, that's Bastion. McCree is the cowboy. He's a character who was built on precision. Of course, and the console gameplay is not as precise as PC gameplay. He also had a secondary attack where he throws a stun grenade, and so that he can blast an opponent while they are not moving.
That's why I call him a rape machine.
Yeah.
Just stun everybody and then shoot them in the face and they are dead. That's how I played him in the beta.
No, Xaverius, I'm gonna wear my problem glasses and I'm gonna say that no, Bastion is the true rape character because when he does his victory pose, he looks like a giant cock.
But yeah, the thing is that the secondary attack made him pretty overpowered on PC. So
it was very balanced.
What they did, they basically nerfed his stun grenade so that he's less overpowered on the PC. The problem is that they also nerfed it the same way on the console, where you actually needed the stun grenade in order to be able to hit anything, because the aim on the consoles is shit. And he's a character who requires perfect aiming.
Yeah, he has 6 shots and that's it. Was it 5?
Yeah. So yeah, they basically made him completely unplayable on the console simply because they could not do separate updates for PC and for console.
It's Blizzard. You know, they've been shit for the past 10 years, but everybody is still sucking their cock for some reason. Actually, not technically 10 years. About 8 years. Because
World of Warcraft came out.
No. Ever since Activision bought them, which was in the Bride of the Lich King era of WoW. Because Activision had all these money schemes in mind, and originally it was that the business model focused on, ironically, similarly to the web games, where the profits are from the hardcore minority of players. Because, and I'm going to quote one of the leading people of Blizzard from back then, I forgot who exactly it was, casuals would never pay for this. And then Activision bought it and focused on casuals, paying for everything.
Proving once again,
everything
casuals are retarded.
Everything was monetized, and you could buy anything or do almost anything if you threw enough money at it.
which is odd considering.
I mean, it's a symptom of gaming going mainstream pretty much.
Mainstream.
Yeah. Now we have all those people who don't actually understand it, but it's cool and hip. I'm going to do it too. Also, this is too difficult. I throw some money at it.
Well, which isn't inherently bad, as long as, you know, you can still just play the damn game and get the same result.
Pretty much most games that involve that kind of transactions are made in a way that even a good player kinda gets into trouble.
Yeah, well, the thing is that in especially World of Warcraft case, they needed to compensate it a bit, and they decided to take certain measures, so people couldn't just buy everything and speed through the content. On the recent expansion, they decided to time gate content, and yeah, people love it. Why wouldn't you just love time gated content? Just log twice a day, figure out if there's a world quest, do it or do not. Fuck off for the next 12 hours. It's
one of the
game at
good
this point.
things about Overwatch actually is that it does not have any of that pay-to-win stuff in it.
Yes, that's pretty much required in a competitive game today. If they had pay to win in any form, people would just, you know, boo them out.
Mm-hmm.
This is a precedent set by all the MOBAs, especially by League of Legends, whose developers said time and time again that they are not going to monetize anything that will give you any edge. Which means...
But did they? Because I never touched League of Legends, but...
Which means if you throw money at them, you get skins, and more skins. Or I guess you can buy a champion early, but who cares? You can buy it with the in-game currency too.
What?
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 I just noticed an advertisement that they are still selling the original Oregon Trail. Speaking Oregon Trail, they are still selling it. And
It's successful, I guess.
And demanding $15 for it.
Isn't that like some shitty DOS game, or is it something?
Yeah, it's a game from back in the days of DOS, not even MS-DOS, just regular.
Yeah, regular DOS. It was like a text adventure with some illustrations, but it was very text-based.
You basically have to plan out a journey for colonists so that they won't die.
They died.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm going to wear my problem glasses and say that it's a oppression simulator, because in this game you
Yes.
simulate the process in which the evil white devils went to the Americas and colonized the shit out of it.
In a way, technically, it was one of the first games of the genre we today know as roguelike. Because it was random at the circumstances that people were dying at. They died.
Yeah, and you basically had to plan out for every possible scenario, which, by the way, is completely impossible.
Yes. That's why they died.
My god, I did a thing on the tablet and now it's all
Fix
fucked
up.
up. Ah, there we go, fixed it.
I don't believe you.
Well, better believe it. The cue that, joke from the Narutos.
Which no one remembers anymore. Except
Oh, you mean that?
I never even knew it in the first place.
Well, you see, Naruto was a
I'd rather not
cartoon,
see Naruto.
and he was like, "I'm gonna be the next Hokage or whatever
I'm
the
gonna
fuck
be the
it
very
was."
best.
like
That's
no
the,
one ever was.
I'm gonna be the most mediocre that some people were at some point.
And then he went on a quest to catch all the ninjas, right?
Yes.
Into tiny little ninja balls.
Gotta acquire them all.
Actually, that's the Avengers Disc Wars.
Is it as bad as it sounds?
That's actually a thing. There was an anime called Marvel Disc Wars Avengers, which is kinda like Pokemon, only instead of Pokemon you have the Avengers from Marvel. But to be fair, they at least tried to write it in such a way that it sort of made sense.
So if you catch them, do they scream for help?
Basically, the Avengers, the story was that the Avengers created essentially Pokeballs, where they called it discs, so they could safely capture supervillains. However, Loki stole the discs and used them to imprison all the world's superheroes. And so a group of kids from Japan had to travel the world collecting the discs and using the heroes in them to fight against supervillains.
That's nice.
Shockingly, it was actually better than any of the current Marvel cartoons.
Well, it explored the depths of modern day slavery in the superhero world. It's kind of like Civil War, but good. I mean the modern Civil War. I guess the comics were alright. I mean,
Oh, were they?
why was there even Ant-Man in the movie?
Because they recently made an Ant-Man movie.
Pretty much. He was there to exist.
Supposedly it wasn't that bad, the Ant-Man movie.
It was okay. I mean, considering that all the Marvel movies are essentially the same thing, they just take the original Iron Man script and copy-paste it everywhere.
It was a successful movie. Why not make it 17 times again? I mean, that's the way to say.
Isn't it kind of coming to an end though? Like we've seen a lot of the superhero movies come and go, and I mean they're still making them, but
Artrix, it's a successful formula, and why the fuck would a corporation take a risk and do something new when they can just milk this stuff that worked so far? I mean, look at Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. That's the same thing.
but
Look at Blizzard.
I don't think it's really working anymore. Like, yes, it's still drawing in.
That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Assassin's Creed. It stopped working. Even Ubisoft realized it's not, and they stopped issuing a new Assassin's Creed each year.
The problem is that people are still paying to go see those movies.
People are retarded.
The only money I've thrown into the superhero genre in the past 4 years is exactly one, and that's Deadpool. I decidedly decided I'm gonna pour money into the one movie that's got all the swearing and all the edgelord shit in it to send a clear image.
3 superhero movies I would consider enjoyable. Deadpool, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad.
Wait, you liked?
Those was Marvel related.
Suicide Squad.
Wait, you unironically like the Superman vs Batman movie?
You ironically like Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Get out.
No.
I can tell you the number of movies I have been to cinema to see with my own money. 2.
Wow.
It was the first Ice Age, I think, and some sort of movie with Will Smith.
Independence Day?
No.
Oh, don't tell me you went and see what's the name of the movie where it's like this retarded alternative universe where all the animals on Earth have evolved to kill man.
No.
Oh.
Artrix, this was in like 2003.
Oh, okay.
I've been in cinema only when I was little.
Oh, okay.
Then I stopped being impressed after those 2 movies. I guess I was.
Well, maybe it was Independence Day, considering that it was in Czech
cinema,
Republic.
I think we were to see Shrek, the second Shrek. Yes, I have seen the first 2 Shreks. I do not remember the second Shrek at all. And then some other movies. I do remember we were to see Schindler's List with Qui-Gon Jinn playing the lead role.
It was so too deep for you, wasn't it? You were like, oh my god, it's so sad.
Well,
especially
Qui-Gon Jinn died being impaled on a red lightsaber. Yes, that's pretty sad.
Oh wait, I thought you.
In the other movie.
Yeah, the Schindler's List doesn't exactly involve a lot of lightsabers, or a lot of light for that matter.
It does have a lot of people getting shot.
Hmm.
Also true.
Those are the best parts of the movies where people are just getting shot all over the place. I had the same with the Titanic. You're watching the Titanic. It's one big bore fest, but then and then this boat starts sinking. You're like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I did spend 2 hours sitting through some really cheesy love story that I don't give a shit about, but now that the ship is sinking,
basically the reward for watching Titanic is seeing Leo DiCaprio die at the end.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty epic.
Yes. Yeah, he finally died.
And the best way possible.
I hated him the whole movie. He finally died.
Well, why though? Because
look at his face.
Because he was old.
But yeah, his character was not very memorable. None of the characters are very memorable. But that's a common theme in these what's his face movies. Like his characters are super fucking flat. Like in Avatar, it's like, yeah, I'm the executive douchebag and going to get you unobtainium, and then there's the military guys like
the Will Smith movie. It was Anthony Hopkins and Chris Rock movie. What was the Will Smith movie that I saw then? Huh.
I Am Legend.
Oh yeah, I Am Legend. I think that came out around that time, didn't it?
No. I don't think I saw a Will Smith movie in cinemas. I did read something about iRobot. Yes.
Oh,
that's why I confused it.
Wasn't he in iRobot as well?
Yes, he was. That's what I just said.
Cool. I kind of liked that movie. It wasn't the best thing since sliced bread, but it was a right movie.
Robots.
Exactly.
I like how these movies sometimes take a classic sci-fi, which is on a deep philosophical level with some superficial story, and just make an action movie out of it.
Like Minority Report, a lot of people shit on that movie, but I liked it. It's a good popcorn flick, and it's not entirely retarded.
I don't know what's the thing.
Okay, here's the premise.
I saw Minority Report. I just don't know what it's based on. If it's a book or an older movie or something.
I'm not entirely sure if it's based on anything. The plot seemed fairly original.
If it's not based on anything, then it's just a better movie in that case. But if it were based on something that went in depth to some of the social problems, which sci-fi often does, and the movie had nothing of those, yes, then I would understand.
Mm-hmm. So I take you didn't really like Minority Report.
It was okay movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that if I liked something that it would be based on, and the movie would not fulfill these expectations I get from the original thing, then I would probably not like it. But since I either don't know what it's based on, or it's not based on anything, then why not? It worked. Mostly.
Well, Minority Report did its thing.
It deported minorities.
That too. It deported all the minorities. Wait, what? That's not how language works. Right, this the. Also, on the maybe we should get back to the whole bearing thing, because it did try to segue the episode into Bearing getting his shit down and then returning again. So for those who are out of the loop, Bearing was just.
I'm out of the loop on him returning.
Okay, so for those out of the loop, Bearing is a dude on the YouTubes, and he's kind of critical of the whole social justice thing, and
I think he's Australian.
And he's also of Australia, so that does, that's very problematic, because he says cunt like 60 times in a 2 minutes conversation.
It means friend in Australian.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he was critical of the current year, so to speak. And then all of a sudden he was, but yeah, he did not have any strikes on his channel or anything. He was abiding by the rules set out by the YouTubes. Then one day he woke up and his entire channel was gone, like it was just deleted.
He woke up and found that he was dead.
As it turns out, that bear thing that he uses for his channel.
Wait, no. You had to insert the fact that lots of people went up to arms, hashtagging free bearing.
Of course, there was a hashtag.
This was a dire strike against the freedom of speech, and apparently it was not.
Well, Peach is already free, so I don't know where they're getting that idea from. I mean, she's running her own kingdom.
I mean, Mario saved her already.
Exactly. So
he keeps freeing the Peach. He's a true champion of free Peach. Anyway, back to the topic.
Yes. So, as it turns out, the bear that he uses for his thumbnails, and I already had this sneaking suspicion when I first came across his channel, the bear that he uses is from a show. It's from a show named Total Drama Island. And for those that don't know what that is, it's like a shitty Canadian show about it's drama.
It's basically a cartoon about a reality show.
Yeah, it's basically a reality show, but they made it a cartoon. In a way, it was pretty clever, but it was also not very well done, in the sense that it was like your typical run-of-the-mill, geometric-shaped Canadian cartoon that was made as cheaply as possible. But still...
Basically, not one of Kaufman's better works.
Yes, or in other words, one of the collaborations on DeviantArt, except in animated form.
More or less, yes. And I watched it back then. It was an alright show. Nothing too spectacular. I wouldn't exactly go and pirate the show just to...
I wouldn't go on the internet and watch it for free. That's how good it was.
I thought Kaufman made better shows.
But yeah, it was an alright show. Nothing spectacular. It did what it had to do, but that's just about it. But the makers of the show are still around, and they were like, this Bearing guy, he's using our character, which was kind of a recurring character too. Like it was a bear that you could see in several episodes, and they were like, no, you can't use this. You can't use our bear. Fuck off. It's our bear, and then they just sent a few copyright strikes, and he was gone forever. But he has ever since put down a new avatar, and which is really terrible, by the way. I really don't like it. This new avatar is like some small dude in a bear suit playing
What
with.
did you expect from copyright-friendly content?
I would expect a picture of a bear that I've taken myself in the Canadian
Yeah,
wild.
I was actually thinking of maybe offering to draw him an avatar, but someone already was beat me to it, and then I'm like, yeah, that means less work for me. But yeah, this current avatar, I don't really think it reflects his style very well. Like, at least draw a big bear. That was kind of his thing. Like, it got this giant bear character that's just kind of, joking around. Oh, this new drawing doesn't really seem to fit that bill. How about you guys? What do you think about Bering's new avatar?
I never heard of him. I never saw the avatar, so sadly I can't really.
I didn't know he was back already.
Well, now you do. So yeah, because if he was still banned, then this episode would probably be like, oh no, Bering is banned, and it's a great defeat for free speech, I guess. Which also is one of the dumbest take that's to free speech. To be like, yeah, free speech.
Yeah, but speaking of YouTube,
My
there
too.
was a big famous YouTuber who claimed if he passes the 50 million mark, he's gonna delete his channel.
I don't know what's that about. Enlighten me.
Basically, PewDiePie, who
Ah!
already has declared that he's disgusted by YouTube being overrun by clickbait.
Well, I'm disgusted by
decided
him.
He decided to quit YouTube once he hits a certain number of subscribers as protest against clickbait. By the way, as we speak, he's currently running a charity, like a charity stream on
Cool.
YouTube.
Well, at least he's got that going for him, I guess.
Well, he already passed 50 million and his channel is still there.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's actually going to.
Somebody should shoot him. That's the only way
One
we are
thing
going to
he
be
did
rid of it.
actually do is he purposely abused the YouTube Heroes system to troll clickbait sites.
Well, you wouldn't have used the YouTube hero system for any reason. It's
Yeah, I was
Personally was strongly opposed to the YouTube Hero system.
I am too.
He basically said that, fuck it. He subscribed to the system, and then he made a whole video of him just trolling clickbait sites.
Yes, exactly. I'm also opposed to the system, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to use it for chaos.
Yeah. He basically made a whole video where he searched out various clickbait accounts and kept rewriting their video titles and descriptions to stuff like only idiots will watch it and similar.
Awesome. The best part is YouTube won't do anything to him because they know that he's way too important for YouTube itself.
Yeah, I did have a discussion with a friend of mine who was like, yeah, those YouTubers, they're bitching about YouTube's algorithm, but they don't have a real job. That's their risk that they're on this platform that YouTube is providing, blah 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 blah. And
They are
like,
entertainers. Entertainment is still a profession.
not just that, but YouTube depends on content creators. So
Especially
to
now
the
that they are more strict with pirate content.
Okay,
Yes.
my YouTube insider tells me that he did delete a channel another one which he made previously. I do not know if he made it just to delete it, which would be a dick move, or if he just had 70 channels, which is also a dick move. I think we should shoot him. That's the only way we are going to get rid of him.
Or, you can just ignore him.
But shooting him helps all the people ignore him easier.
Actually, that only makes him a martyr.
But he's dead and he can't make more videos.
But he's gonna be a
other
martyr.
people will make videos in his name.
Yes.
Who cares?
It's like with the Hydra, if you cut one head, three new will grow.
It's like that picture
So
I
you'll
made.
be like 3 users and be like, in memoriam of PewDiePie and everything, and so on.
Crawling in my skin.
It won't, they will not hear. I actually really like that song.
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't think that YouTube actually cares about the content creators themselves. They care about the advertisers.
Of course, but they are still reliant on content creators to draw people to the site.
Okay.
If it wasn't for these content creators, YouTube probably wouldn't be as big as it is now. I mean, the whole appeal of YouTube is that you can, view content that you would otherwise never get to see, because corporate media that would just crank out content because, this is just gonna make the most money, instead of some random dude that just shits out a video and then it turns out, hey, this is actually very fun to watch, which would never happen in the traditional circuits, where it's like, you gotta have a plan. You need to have someone who puts money up front to produce the thing. It's all very meticulous, and you never know if you're gonna get your money's worth.
It does not work for high effort content.
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear of Cartoon Hangover?
No. What about them?
It was basically, it technically still is, a channel on YouTube which was founded by a number of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon animators, so they could make their own cartoons independent from networks, and they would be sponsored from advertising. The problem is that it turned out that no, you can't sponsor any high-end animation projects from simple advertising content. And so they did release a number of episodes of original web shows and shorts, but it has since then turned into a clickbait site.
Yeah, because the algorithm that YouTube uses vastly favors people that crank out content constantly. So this is why you see a shit ton of gaming channels, because all you need to do for a gaming channel is 1, be funny, and 2, just sit there and play Vidya and record yourself doing it.
Artrix, I think you operate on a grave misconception. You don't need to be funny. You need to be annoying.
That's actually true.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you are an edgelord that's going to capture the attention of the 12-year-olds, it's smooth sailing from there.
Yep.
Also, yes, YouTube's algorithms are not very content focused. They are business focused, which kind of powers back into what we were discussing before.
It makes sense for YouTube, but it may actually hurt them in the long run.
I hoped it will.
Yes.
It's only deserved for the constant YouTube redesigns and changing the comments.
Look, if just one competitor comes along and offers something that's better, and people catch wind of that, and YouTube at the current state, YouTube is fucked, because
not really, because what YouTube will do is just to buy the competitor.
What if the competitor is like, no? If people flock to YouTube, if people flock to this competitor, like they go to this competitors in the millions, and then YouTube is like, we're just gonna buy you.
The problem.
You say that won't happen, but that's essentially what happened in the 2000s. The mainstream media was like, oh, that will never happen. This internet fad, it's just gonna it's just gonna fly over. People are gonna get bored of it. They're gonna go straight back to cable TV and
Times have
Netflix.
changed, and in 2012 they realized that there's internet now.
Yes.
And we're like,
then,
oh my god, what is this? Internet! Should we ban it? Yes, we are going to ban it. Why? What? People don't want to ban it? We should do some research on what this internet is.
Internet is.
Yeah.
Internet. Internet.
How do you even read it? What is it?
Intranet. Le ordinateur.
You do know what the problem is, however, with YouTube. At the moment, nobody is trying to compete with them.
Well, there are some competitors, like in the quote unquote intellectual circles of YouTube. There's now Minds.com, and they're kind of trying to counter YouTube in the sense that
it will say general video hosting service, shit, everything you want on here. Which, yeah, Vimeo. That's the thing I have in
Isn't
mind.
that site kind of dying? I do
in
remember
Minds.com or Vimeo.
Vimeo.
But that's because Vimeo is full of hipster fucks that are like, well, do you want to post a video? And I'm like, no, not me. I never even fucking tried posting on Vimeo.
The thing is that anything that's on YouTube is slowly dying. The other thing is, which I like Vimeo for, is that copyright claims sort of don't happen there, and I can watch my favorite shows in peace.
Aren't you talking about that other site now, Dailymotion? Because I'm pretty sure that Vimeo doesn't really do copyright content.
They're both blue. I keep
I
confusing.
think you are talking about Kiss Cartoon.
No.
No.
Dailymotion.
No. But Kiss Cartoon is specifically a site that hosts cartoons and serials and stuff like that. I mean, a user-based content place that's mostly used as a depository for various serials, which might be Dailymotion, indeed. I mentioned both. I mean, they are blue. I keep confusing them. I know.
Yeah. I mean, Vimeo's the kind of place, like, you go there and you're like, hey, dude, I want to post a video on your site. And they're like, what levels are of hipster are you on? And you're like, oh, I'm on my third, maybe fourth. And then I'm like, oh, you're like a little baby. Watch this. And then they pull out their hipster glasses and beard and earrings, and they're like, get on my level, and then it just kick you out. Like, GTFO. Come back when you are proper hipster.
Earrings are so normal, people. It's ear holes now.
Oh yeah, ear holes, or well, that's not enough either. It needs to be holes that you put in your cheeks. So you need to use like a plug whenever you want to eat. You think that I'm making this shit up, but there's actually someone who did this. It looks fucking disgusting.
Eating is overrated, anyways.
That too.
Speaking of cartoon, the site seems to be down, like the whole day so far.
It's just a day. Wait a month.
You are sure? Because I'm watching another stream, and it actually has the Kiss Cartoon site open.
It has?
Maybe it's just blocked in Slovakia.
I can't open the site the whole day at this point. For the whole day.
Maybe some server issue.
It tells me that proxy error.
Yeah.
The whole page could not be loaded because of proxy error.
That sounds... That might actually be on... Yeah.
I think they blocked the site because it's not in Slovak.
Maybe Trump actually does keep his promise, but we all completely misinterpreted it, and he actually meant the Great Firewall of Slovakia.
So he's going to host the servers in Mexico.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to work even with my proxies.
Yes, server not found. Well, wait a week, and if it's still going to be down there, it's a problem.
Also, do we have any Kek-worthy news surrounding the election? Since I don't know.
I think the election is over, Artrix.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not paying much attention to it, but I think it's over.
They are trying to start a petition to have the election results changed.
Oh, I know what they're trying to do.
And it's not even Hitler who's starting it. It's some fourth place Green Party candidate who got like 5 votes.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not gonna go anywhere. But what they are trying to do, or at least the Democrats are trying to do, is okay. So we've got these electoral college voters, right?
Yes.
And one of them is like, hey, I was voted to vote on Trump, right? But I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to vote for Hillary, and I'm going to persuade these other electoral vote guys to also vote for Hillary. So it's checkmate, atheists.
In other words, they are going to fuck democracy in the ass even harder than it already was.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You just don't understand politics, man. These people just... Yeah, these people that voted for Trump, they just don't get it. We can't trust democracy to make our decisions.
I mean, look at them. We allow them to vote, and they voted wrong.
Exactly. So we need to fix their vote, because they just don't know any better.
Need to be lynched hard.
I do doubt it's gonna happen though, because if the electoral college does decide to vote against the election results, that would just cause
There's
people
going to be a freaking uprising, at least in the south.
Because all this time you're keeping up this facade, like, yeah, there's democracy and you can vote and shit. Then you do vote, and then it's like, yeah, this guy won. And then you go around and say, yeah, but not really, because some.
Yeah, but to be fair, more people actually voted on Hillary.
Yeah, but that's due to the way of the electoral college. That's just the way it works. I mean, we also accepted the results when Al Gore lost to Bush by, electoral college, and we all know how that turned out. In the end, no one fucking liked Bush. Well, except for, some people that really like Bush, but there were not a lot of them left at the end of his...
And probably his wife. Does he have a wife?
I guess. He does have an entity.
She might like him.
Just a little bit. But I'm pretty sure...
You actually know that Donald Trump's first wife is Czech?
Yes. I mean, duh.
Well, obviously he's unfit for presidency because he had several wives. Obviously. So that makes it all okay.
That he's a better man than most of us. Well, maybe not better, but bigger.
Well, he's big in a lot of ways, if you catch my drift.
He's better, faster, and stronger than an ordinary human.
Well, except for me, of course, but I'm just hiding my power level.
Well, we're just going to wait if you are going to have a kid 60 years old.
Yes.
Because that's when he had his youngest son.
Well, okay then.
Seriously, his youngest son is 10 and Trump is 70.
Okay, sounds like a thing I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna have a kid at 60 years old for the lols. Just gonna be like, hi, I'm 60 and I want kids. And then some chick is...
kid.
Yeah,
one
just
kid.
a kid. Just one kid blocks. And then some random woman is like, okay. Then we have the kid and I'm like, getting spy. Mission accomplished. But then I'm arrested by the police because, it would be the current year and everyone would be like, how dare you have a child and not take care of it? And I'm like, isn't that the status quo because it's current year? And then, yeah, but you're white, so, off to prison you go. But, then I just escape and become the president of the world because I'm like, fuck it. Might as well go all out now.
Why the president? Why not the God Emperor?
Because, come on. I'm. If you're gonna rule the world, at least have the pretense that everyone's got a say, Otherwise, people will just be like, he's okay. He's the fucking king now, emperor. People will start to rebel. If you just give them illusion that they're free, just roll with it. You're like, yeah, I'm going to enact this law, and then people are like, you can't do that. I'm like, I'm the president. Oh, well, yeah, can't argue with that. Carry on. And then they're executed for the laws.
Yay!
And then everyone died, and none of them lived, except for me. It's just gonna be me.
On a completely unrelated news.
Yeah, good call, because that was going nowhere.
Which probably nobody cares about.
That too.
It seems they are making an Emily Strange movie.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, which is probably the majority, Emily Strange was a goth comic from the 2000s.
Isn't that from isn't that from Sweden or Denmark? It was something like that. It was.
At least from the information that I was able to gather, it is going to be animated, and it might actually be 2D animated.
Well, that's something I can get behind, or in front, or to the side, whichever side comes first.
Of course, even Frozen was originally supposed to be 2D, and they made it CGI at the last moment, so nothing is sure.
They made it. The next generation.
Also, it was a mediocre movie. I still don't get why people like Frozen so much. I watched it.
It was a deconstruction of the classical Disney princess.
You want to know how many times I've seen Frozen?
And it also had Idina Menzel in it.
I've seen it once, exactly once, and that's all the times I felt necessary to actually see it.
I saw it twice. Once alone, and once with my niece.
Oh yeah, there you go. Let me guess, your niece is like 6 or 8. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I saw enough memes that I can piece together to a rough story.
There's not much of a story. Like,
exactly, that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, like.
But it's actually more of a story than in Moana. Seriously,
oh,
Moana,
speaking of which, that's something I want to touch up upon, because apparently Moana started to exist, and it's now a thing you can see in cinemas.
It is an okay movie.
Oh, you actually went to see it?
In my opinion, Zootopia was the superior Disney movie this year. It's an okay movie, but it seriously does not have that much plot. It's like if you took an episode of a TV show and stretched it out into movie length.
I to be honest, I do think it would be very hard.
Isn't it like every movie ever?
No, really. Some move. For instance, Zootopia did a really good job just fucking telling its story, and
pretty much every movie is the same thing that could be told in the span of an hour if you cut off some stuff that wasn't needed.
I will tell you the whole story of Moana. Basically,
okay, spoilers. But go ahead.
Yes, spoilers. There was this demigod who stole the heart of a goddess, like literally, and then he disappeared. Then we flash forward to our main protagonist who lives on an island, and suddenly the crops start dying and the fish are disappearing. So
they should sacrifice her to the gods.
So this one girl takes on a ship and goes into the world to find that demigod, because it's apparently connected to the goddess's heart missing.
Well, finding demigods in the world is very easy.
Well, then she finds him, and then they return the heart, and that's it.
Oh my god!
Good, and that's it.
So
of course they meet a giant crab monster on the way, who's like in one scene tries to steal the heart, and we never see it again. They run into some pirates who try to steal the heart, don't manage to steal it, and then we never.
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt.
And then we never see those pirates ever again. And then finally they find a giant lava monster that turns out to be the goddess. Well, the goddess turned into it after losing her heart. So when they return it to her, she turns back to normal.
As you do.
Yeah,
But those previous two encounters, like the whole bit with the giant crab monster and the bit with the pirates, serve like no purpose. They are, I will say that they are very fun scenes, but they serve no purpose.
You're sure it's not just a meme movie? I mean,
it sounds like a me movie.
The stuff about pirates and hearts was explored in a certain movie with Jar of a Dirt.
Oh yeah.
And a giant enemy crab.
There's got to be
an there is voiced by a David Bowie impersonator.
There's
They were originally intending to use the real David Bowie for it, but
he died.
Yeah, he died this year, so they had to get an
They had to use
impersonator.
a knockoff David Bowie, a Chinese one.
also, yeah, are there
Sounds
already
like a meme movie.
yeah, are there already like edits where he's fighting the crab monster thing?
Not sure, but there are lost edits of the movie.
Giant enemy crab.
But there were lost edits when they announced
For
the movie already.
just
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's a lost edit of just about everything.
Do
That
the
should
lost
be
edits-
that should be a new rule of the internet. Like I don't know what numbers are still available. Like rule 101, if it exists, there's a lost .jpeg of it.
But that does due to lost edits contain the giant crab.
Well, there is now.
I hope
Probably.
they do.
I mean, I can draw one. I'll draw one right now. So, yeah, I've been drawing on the background for some reason, but that's okay. I'll just create a new layer. That's
It
entirely.
will now forever be in your background.
Alright, so, need 4 panels, 4 rudely drawn panels.
I have seen a beautifully minimalist version of the loss. It was just
So,
dashes.
oh yeah, so the crab walks into.
could I get you reference pictures?
No.
Get to one with Gaben.
So the crab walks into the room, and then it's then like some guy behind the desk like go there, and some other guys like, yeah. This guy's got a square head. It's like. And then there's the crab, and I don't know, Moana's on the bed or whatever. It's just sad. And crab is like, there you go. Lost the JPEG drawn in under a minute. Well, that happened. Meanwhile, I'll go back to this somewhat highly rendered drawing of Ralph. And yes, that's the name of the character now.
I have
Just
no idea where Ralph is.
he's a character from Rothingham.
But
Eh,
I have to get one good thing to Moana.
I don't think that's his name, Artrix.
yeah, that's his name.
No.
One
it-
good
Well,
thing.
okay, what's his name? You apparently you know. No, his hair isn't. You're confusing him with Bori. He is X hair. No, he is a completely new character that's only loosely based on Bori. Personality-wise, he's completely different.
Hair-wise, not so much.
He's still got like, well, it's not X hair, not to the extent of Bori.
Not anymore.
Catch slides. Anyway, you want to say something, Secular? Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, the one thing I actually liked about Moana, which is a very stupid thing to like, but I liked it anyway. probably the best animal sidekick. A chicken. Not a talking chicken, not a funny chicken, just a regular stupid chicken.
Oh, that is amazing.
Acts like, it looks cartoonish, but not cutesy cartoonish.
It's just a fucking chicken.
It just acts like a regular chicken. It's just a regular chicken. And does chicken stuff.
It's kind of like the pigeons in Rothingham, like,
Yeah.
well, except that the pigeons in Rothingham act kind of retarded.
I keep saying that word, but yes, that was one of the first things I thought of when I saw the chicken in action.
The pigeons in Rothingham are extremely retarded. We are talking about.
Yes.
They are too stupid to even move off the streets sometimes.
Yep, they just sit there and they can be used.
To dispatch snow plows in the middle of summer to clear out all the pigeons.
Mm-hmm. They're like objects that can be used for whatever the plot calls for.
Yep.
So if you need a brick to smash in a window, just pick up a random pigeon. It won't protest or anything. It's just there.
And yes, the chicken was used as a projectile several times.
Of course it was. I mean, whenever Ralph is doing some neat hacks or hexing, he can just pick up a pigeon and use it as to cut some wires. Like,
Yes.
Okay, we need to cut these wires. Just picks up a pigeon and just uses its beak to snap the cable. Like, there, fixed. And then just toss the pigeon away. Like, okay, done with it. Oh god, this pigeon's beak is broken. Shit, pigeon picks up another one. Okay, this one is a bit sharper.
You guys always sharpen it on the concrete.
You can do that too. But, you know, what's easier? Just pick up a new pigeon or going through the effort of sharpening a pigeon's beak? I think the former is easier.
I guess. Or you could just, carry a pigeon beak sharpener.
Okay, to be fair, if you need a bit more of a heavy-duty beak, then you can also just grab a seagull.
But those are tricky.
Not in Rothingham. Not in Rothingham. They're equally retarded, but they're not as common, obviously. So the downside of seagulls is that they're, you gotta find them first.
Well, that's true. I mean, pigeons don't mind that you're grabbing them because they are too stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But seagulls are predators, so they are smart.
Seagulls are too stupid to realize that you are grabbing them.
Yes. So the effect is more or less the same. They just stand there.
The reasons are different.
Yes.
Pigeons are that seagulls don't realize. Then they just go and eat a pigeon because why not?
Mm-hmm. Although I don't think at any point someone should be eating pigeons. It would just be weird.
And pelicans, obviously, but they also.
Apparently, pelicans have the tendency to eat pigeons. Like that one gift that you once sent me, where the pelican was like, "That's a nice pigeon you got there," and then just eats it whole.
So casually.
Yeah.
That's how you solve your pigeon problem. Of course, the downside is that you now have pelican problem.
Yes.
I have also sent you that video of a catfish eating pigeons.
I don't think I've seen that one, but it sounds hilarious. Like a pigeon.
That stupid chicken from Moana. I think the creators were intentionally trolling because at the start of the movie you see this super cute piggy, like a typical Disney mascot cute piggy. It even appears in the movie posters everywhere. But in the movie, the pig appears in one scene at the start, and then you don't see it again until the very end of the movie. And you are stuck with the dopey chicken through the rest of the film.
It's a meme movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty meme-y, but that's one I can get behind or in front of to the side.
I posted
it's a meme you can trust.
Yes. You know, memes are very serious business, and you have to invest in the proper means to get the best value out of them. Like if you invest in bad stock, I mean meme, then you know they won't be as fresh. They will.
The power of the meme economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very serious business. You have to invest in the proper means to get the maximum meme efficiency. So it can meme on with the dankest memes with maximum meme.
It's essential.
It's the fate of the world depends on it. If you don't invest in proper meme, then you're screwed.
Crude memes just won't cut it.
Nope. I mean, you know, in the olden, you know, it's the same as with Bitcoin. In the beginning, you could just, you know, run a Bitcoin miner, get a few Bitcoins, and then spend on pizza. These days, you know, you gotta be more.
You can't spend just any meme on pizza.
No. So these days, you really have to study your meme, make sure that the meme is suited for the proper context and has the maximum impact for the situation that you're trying to use it in. You can't just, you know, throw around random memes. You gotta, you know, you got to have the proper usage for it. You gotta have the proper context and use for your meme. It's all very serious. That's what I'm saying. It's very serious business.
I mean, I saw a girl using Pepe in relations to America allowing gay marriage. I mean, no, that's not how you properly use Pepe.
Exactly. These things have rules. You can't just, you know, go on the internet and tell lies. I mean, post Pepe in the wrong
You just
context.
decrease the value of the Pepe by like 70% by using him improperly.
Exactly, and that's gonna have a snowball effect, because, you know, then other people post Pepes, and before you know it, Pepes will be down by 90%. Which will have a snowball effect, which will make other memes worth less. And before you know it, you gotta have like a meme recession, where there's gonna be a drought of memes. So no one can post memes anymore because.
You have Pepes everywhere. Even the rare Pepes are common Pepes now, and the truly rare Pepes are virtually unreachable.
Yeah, and then you get people just throwing Pepes on a pile of fire and, you know, just burning that. It will be cheaper to heat your house with Pepes than using the actual Pepes. So, you know, some people will just trade your Pepes for a wheelbarrow, because the wheelbarrow will be worth more than Pepes.
Yeah, that's terrifying future.
Yes,
I don't want to live in a world where wheelbarrow is more valuable than a Pepe.
Exactly. So remember, boys and girls, use your memes wisely. The global meme economy depends on it. Anyway, I think that retarded thing was just what we needed to end this episode. So yeah, I still don't have an outro music song, and I don't think we really need it. But subscribe. We need a theme song. You've been watching Radio Rothingham. We need like one of those 1950s songs, like Radio Rothingham.
Greg put the bag on his face, cause no one wants to see him talking. Evil Greg, he talks like a oh, disgusting. That's from the days of Reckless Media Radio.
Oh yeah, I still miss those guys. They were a great podcast.
Unlike me.
Unlike us.
Because somebody does not want to invest the proper effort.
No, effort is for, well, effort makers.
For people who want to get somewhere.
Yeah, Radio Rothingham is not one of those.
Oh, by the way,
they
just announced an Adventure Time TV movie.
No.
One of the promotional artworks for the movie has a ship with the name Sugar Spit, which kinda, if you think about it, one of the animators from Adventure Time was Rebecca Sugar, who left to make Steven Universe. Now they have a boat called Sugar Spit. Coincidence? I don't think so!
I think you're
Two.
overthinking it.
Too clever, 6 me.
Honestly, the best thing about Adventure Time right now is that it's going to end.
Forever.
Yes, it's going to end ever. Very soon, in fact. In a season.
It actually seems that they are going to finally greenlight Lakewood Plaza Turbo for a full series. They already released several online shorts for it, so they may as well greenlight it finally.
Anyways, we need to end this episode. So subscribe, like, and whatever we do on YouTube. Do all the things and do them simultaneously, all at once. Do it now. The end.
Okay.
But not forever. I won't end forever. Just for now.
You're not ending enough. And more.
I'm doing that right now.
Well, do it!
The end.